Based on the devastation that is clear, it looks like a bomb, an atomic bomb dropped in these areas.
Videos like these paint a grim picture. Multiple wildfires are burning across Los Angeles now. None of them are anywhere close to being contained. The skies are buzzing with aircraft, dropping retardants and water on the flames, but these efforts are making little impact. For the victims of this fire, these losses are personal and real. Los Angeles is home to Hollywood. The wildfire is even threatening the city's iconic Hollywood sign. Many A-list celebrities have lost their homes. This includes names like Mel Gibson, Adam Brody, and Paris Hilton, who shared a video of her charred home in Malibu. These fires have been raging for 3 days now. Thousands of firefighters still remain overwhelmed by the sheer scale of the blaze. It's being made worse by strong winds and the lack of rain. Looters are now taking advantage of the chaos. They are raiding empty homes and shops which have been abandoned. At least 20 arrests have been made so far.
If anybody is involved in looting or any property damage, that he is ready to prosecute to the full extent of the law.
There are now 8,000 personnel on the ground trying to stop these raging wildfires and maintain order. Yet the crisis remains beyond control. California Governor Gavin Newsom has now called in troops from the National Guard. This is a military reserve force, and they have been asked to put an end to the looting. Misinformation is also spreading as fast as the wildfire. This video is doing the rounds. It shows a group of men taking goods from a home. On social media, users have claimed this is footage of looters in Los Angeles. But that's incorrect. Turns out this is an old video, and it's not from Los Angeles, but from Compton. And these men are not looting this home, they were helping the homeowner move. The crisis in Los Angeles shows how extreme weather events are intensifying. And this exposes just how unprepared our communities, our governments, and public spaces are to deal with it.
From break. Well, let's take a closer look, shall we, at some of the consequences. We've just heard them, but we can see them as well through satellite imagery. Here on the left, buildings on Marathon Road, Altadena. You can see the swimming pools, people's ordinary homes, ordinary lives. All of that completely changed, completely decimated, completely burned. The swimming pools there, blackened. The homes blackened, the buildings destroyed. Here on the left, we can see Fair Oaks Avenue, also in Altadena, a very similar scene, ordinary, typical homes. Here, the satellite image obscured for the most part by the smoke, but you can see these pockets of flame that were people's houses in exactly the same place. Let's move. Let's move south, shall we, to Pacific Palisades. We talked so much about it. These are homes along Tuna Canyon. You can see the canyon above. The homes and the cars along the highway there. All of these homes completely destroyed. One, possibly two, possibly.
Involved in this situation. The people who committed this arson will be arrested, they will be prosecuted, and they will be punished to the full extent of the law. Right now, obviously, law enforcement and the firefighters are focused on containing these properties, saving lives, saving homes. But eventually we will get to the causes of those fires. And in that part, the DA's office will be working with law enforcement to go after anyone who is guilty of the crime of arson. Second types of crimes. If people are going to violate this curfew restriction and they get arrested, they will be prosecuted. Let me back up what the sheriff has said. In order to protect the homes of people.
We are coming to you yet again tonight from a staging area along the fire that has really sent off a lot of smoke into the air just over the last 30 or so minutes. It is incredibly active. We spent the day out in Topanga Canyon in a number of areas, and we're going to show you that in a moment. The official death toll now stands at 11. That's up from 7 this time last night, and obviously that number is expected to rise as well. Some 30,000 acres have burned in all. There's a lot of concern. Today there was some good news, which was the winds had died down or were relatively calm. There is a lot of concern about what happens this weekend, particularly Saturday afternoon into Sunday morning. It's expected that the winds are really going to pick up. We have a lot of reports to show you in the hour ahead tonight. I want to begin with what we have spent the day doing just up in Topanga Canyon, driving around with fire crews. We came upon a community called Fernwood, and we saw more aerial assets being brought to bear, fighting, trying to put out these spot fires in that area. It was extraordinary to witness. Take a look. In the mountains of Topanga, the battle rages on. By air and on land, firefighters are trying to save the community of Fernwood. They've been hitting this fire here in Topanga with a number of aerial assets. Fixed-wing aircraft, that was a large one. There was a smaller fixed-wing aircraft. They just dropped retardant, fire retardant on it. That's what the reddish pink color is. They've also brought in helicopters have been dropping water on this spot as well. They have a lot of assets in this area on the ground. They're also putting water on it from fire trucks down there. But this is a spot that they are focusing on right now. One after another, choppers swoop in. They sound an alarm to let anyone on the ground know water is coming. You can hear the sound, kind of a siren going. That's the warning that they're about to drop water. This is probably the 5th or 6th water drop we have seen just over the last 10 minutes, I'd say. They're devoting a lot of resources trying to nip this in the bud. It looks like from this vantage point, I'm told it is likely a structure fire. You can tell because of the black smoke. New fires pop up all the time. There's one also in the distance near Entrada. It looks like from this vantage point that there now may be another issue, another fire over this ridge. You can see the dark smoke rising from there as well. So there's a fire that they believe is a structure down off to the right, and then over that ridge looks like there's now another fire to deal with. And obviously on the horizon you can see some other smoke trails as well. So they're trying to save this. Has evacuated, but Adam Weber and some others have come back to try to save their homes. What is it like for you to see this? I mean,
It hasn't hit yet. It's a very surreal and devastating to watch, and at the
putting out wildland blazes around Southern California. And all the while, he knew his own home atop a Sierra Madre ridge was a ripe fire target.
I've been doing like fuel reduction and defensible space. So I've been like lifting all the trees and like cutting everything back. So in case a fire does happen, it can't get up into the trees and like torch out the building.
And that paid off.
Paid off. I mean, if I didn't do that, all this wouldn't have gone.
Right. But he never imagined he'd have to defend his own neighborhood from a moving hellscape with a garden hose and a chainsaw. He says that during repeated trips over multiple days, he had to beg for help from passing fire crews and even evade a police barricade.
Told me I looked tired and I should go find somewhere to sleep, and then threatened to put me in the cop car. So I know Sierra Madre, I know another way to get in, so I snuck back up here and put out a bunch of fires and saved 4 or 5 homes from burning.
When fire crews from Arizona finally arrived, Miro found himself in command.
I've been like
Humihingi bruwal ang wildfire sa Los Angeles County sa California sa Amerika.
Dasal-dasal kayo dyan.
Pinaghalong kahel at itim na ang kalangitan dahil sa apoy at usok.
Bundok yung nasusunog.
Kwento ni Davidson sa kapatid niya si Dana, nahihirapan na responde ang mga helicopter dahil sa malakas na hangin na sanhi ng mabilis na pagkalat ng apoy.
Ano yan? Lahat ng pundaryo, wala na.
Nakalikas na si Davidson. Natupok naman sa wildfire ang bahay ni Mang June, kaya napilitan din silang lumikas. Nagulat nga raw sila sa biglaang paglaki ng apoy.
Susunog na yung likuran namin, which is the mountain.
Humihingi siya ng tulong para sa kanyang pamilya, pati na sa iba pang apektadong Pilipino roon.
Medyo nangangailangan ho tayo ng kaunting tulong, kahit ho mga kasuotan o kaya ho gamot. O pagkain o tsaka ho matitirahan.
Hollywood celebrity tulad ng mag-asawang Adam Brody at Leighton Mister. Heartbroken beyond words naman daw si Paris Hilton dahil nasunog din ang kanyang bahay sa Malibu.
My thoughts and prayers are with everyone tonight.
Hindi rin sinanto ng wildfire isang Jewish temple at isang sikat na shopping village. 5 wildfire ang lumalagablab sa Los Angeles matapos lumagdag ang kasisiklab lamang na wildfire sa Hollywood Hills. Di bababa sa 5 ang patay at mahigit 100,000 na ang lumikas.
Yeah, I could ask.
Joseph Morong nagbabalita para sa GMA Integrated News.
Huwag magpahuli sa mga
I want to ask you overall how
This morning, a massive and deadly wildfire emergency.
It's gone.
For a second straight night, wind-driven fires engulfing homes. And overnight, a new blaze popping up in the Hollywood Hills and Studio City.
This home now collapsing.
Cars gridlocked, with the famous Hollywood Boulevard evacuated. Along the coast, the Palisades fire exploding to more than 15,000 acres. California's iconic Pacific Coast Highway, now a trail of burnt wreckage.
It's devastating. It is apocalyptic. You feel like you're on a movie set. This does not feel real.
It doesn't even look like a house anymore.
At the Eaton fire burning in Altadena, at least 5 people. Five people have died. As the fires began, smoke transforming a sunny day into eerie darkness. Last night, the destruction was plain everywhere. Days after this fire began, the flames continued to spread. This is all that's left of this school. The community mourning what's been lost, including famous residents like Billy Crystal, who wrote of his lost home. Every inch of our house was filled with love. Paris Hilton watching hers burn on TV. And Mandy Moore writing, I'm in shock.
I have never flown in conditions quite like this.
A time lapse showing the Palisades fire's rapid and terrifying growth. Overwhelmed fire crews working around the clock.
Here we go.
NBC Los Angeles learning that the LA fire chief warned in a memo last month that budget cuts would affect its response to emergencies. Mayor Karen Bass pressed after arriving back in the city from a trip to Ghana.
Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Bass later saying budget cuts didn't affect the response. During the peak of the firestorm, city officials say hydrants unable to keep up with the extreme demand.
What is going on with the water situation?
We have had some issues with water. If you stick enough straws into a glass of water, it's going to empty faster.
NBC's Morgan Chesky witnessing it firsthand on the Eaton fire.
Out of every fire hydrant you've seen, what have you found?
Right now, we're finding most of them are down or low pressure.
Dramatic before and after satellite images show the scope of the destruction, while a firestorm of unprecedented ferocity continues to rage.
Now, firefighters are doing the best they can, but there are still areas here that are smoldering. The situation yesterday and on Tuesday, we had 80 to 100 mile per hour gusts. Those are hurricane force winds. It would take smoldering embers like this and launch them, say, 3 to 5 miles away, introducing fire to neighborhoods that had no business being part of this blaze. So that's kind of the setup that we had. And right now, the winds have eased a bit, but later on this evening, typical Santa Ana winds, 60 to 70 mile per hour gusts are still in the forecast, and it just makes it nearly impossible for these firefighters to control it. Hoda.
All right, Dylan Dreyer. Dylan, thank you so much.
Good evening and welcome. With one eye on the wind gauges, the other on are now returning to smoldering communities, hoping their homes will be the exception, the one standing amid the destruction. Tonight, destroyed communities anxious to know what's next, also questioning how things were allowed to get so out of control. Let's start once again with Tom Yamas from LA.
The firefight in California now in day 4. Today we saw firsthand how homeowners continue to face the wildfires head on.
Topanga is there. If we burn, Topanga burns. We need to stop this.
Using water hoses, shovels, and sprinklers, these residents have been fighting for days.
You're sweating, you're covered in water and dirt. Why are you doing this?
Because there's a whole community behind us, and if we go, they go.
With firefighters on the ground and the wind slowing down, air assets attack the blaze from above.
We're in the middle of the Palisades firefight right now. That is a Firehawk. It's a Black Hawk helicopter that has up to 1,000 gallons of water, dropping it right on some of the hottest spots of this wildfire.
The accuracy of those airdrops was unbelievable.
Even Carmen Harmon, who is 6 months pregnant, spraying down her home with water. She's expecting a boy and says she's trying to ensure her baby has a place to come home to.
We're ready to go if we need to. We have routes out, but
Yeah, we want to try and stay in pipe.
And the threat isn't over. Today, new evacuations ordered as a fire broke out in Granada Hills. And last night, another new fire near Calabasas. A furious effort held back these flames. But with each new outbreak, already thin resources are being stretched even further. Today, there's one less firefighting plane in the air after a super scooper was struck by what the FBI is investigating as a civilian drone strike. The damage left a fist-sized hole in its wing, grounding the vital aircraft designed to drop 1,500 gallons of water on fire. The fires have now burned more than 56 square miles. That's larger than the city of San Francisco. More than 12,000 structures damaged or destroyed. These stunning before and after images of the Eaton fire in Altadena showing what the fire did to a vibrant community. According to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, the fires have now killed 11 people, including 83-year-old grandfather Rodney Nickerson of Altadena. And the number of dead is still expected to rise.
There's still a lot of people who are unaccounted for. We don't know where they are. I think this toll is likely to go up, whether it's significant or not. Pray God it's not.
Hajime White lost her father, Anthony Mitchell, and younger brother Justin, who had cerebral up that hill, but those residents would not stop. With the help of the firefighters, those helicopters, and those airplanes, they took back control. By the time we were done, the smoke had largely cleared out of the canyon. And even though they won the battle today, all the residents there know this war is far from over. Lester.
All right, Tom Yamas, thanks. And you saw the images in Tom's report of Altadena.
The damage in Southern California is being described as unimaginable.
The two biggest wildfires ravaging the Los Angeles area.
The Kenneth fire erupting in the San Fernando Valley, forcing evacuations in the west. Fire erupting in the San Fernando Valley, forcing evacuations in West Hills neighborhood.
We are expecting this fire to rapidly spread due to high winds.
Flames spread to nearly 1,000 acres in a matter of hours. Another fire popping up in the San Fernando Valley overnight. All of the major wildfires are in a roughly 25-mile band north of downtown Los Angeles. The Palisades and Eaton fires, the largest, more than 9,000 homes, businesses, and other buildings damaged or destroyed, making them the first and second.
Let's get to our ongoing coverage of the devastating wildfires in Los Angeles. At least 10 people we know have now died, and it's all because of at least 6 fires that are continuing to spread across Southern California. Now, officials say they do expect that death toll to go up as they start to look through all of the homes. Have to think it's still very
residents who have been able to come back to their homes, and they're sifting through them, trying to find anything they can, anything of value that may have survived these fires. One of the big dangers here in this devastated Palisades neighborhood, power lines. You can see this one is just dangling. And it's not just the lines themselves, it's the power poles. We're going to stay back a bit, but if you look closely at the bottom, you can see it's charged. They think possibly because it's so charred down there and burned, it has been weakened, and these poles could topple over. One of the things we heard a lot was there was a lack of water pressure up in this area when the fire was raging. And you can see this looks to be a water softener that's still leaking water. And you have to imagine dozens, maybe hundreds of leaks like this all throughout this neighborhood, contributing to that low water pressure. And you can really see the heat of the fire that came through here. Believe it or not, this is a Tesla, or was a Tesla. Anything that's not metal has just been vaporized. Even the rubber on the tires completely gone, all the cloth on the seats. So this fire moved here with ferocity. So, I mean, those are the things, right, that we were looking at. One of the most.
He's really trying to help his community right now, that it's incredible to see how many neighbors are coming together. He also says it's great to.
And I just wanted to show you the intense glow that is coming up. And again, this is from the Citizen app, but the glow that is coming up from the view of the 405 and the 101 interchange. It's really remarkable. I was looking at some of the Alert California cameras
because it just went up and it was very bright. But then there were 2 water dropping helicopters that hit it with 2 drops in succession. So it looks like after that happened, now it's
Thousands of Southern California residents have made harrowing escapes as devastating wildfires bear down on the Los Angeles area. Some fled by foot, some by car, and some by the grace of Good Samaritans. There are now 6 fast-moving wildfires raging around LA County, including the Pacific Palisades blaze and the Eaton fire in Altadena. The 6th fire, called the Sunset Fire, broke out last night in the Hollywood Hills area. Officials say the fires have killed at least 5 people and have burned down nearly 2,000 homes and structures, including ones owned by celebrities Billy Crystal, Mandy Moore, and Paris Hilton.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called the smelt. And for the sake of the smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing. And we're going to get that done. It's going to finally be done. I got it done from the federal side, and he didn't want to sign it, but it's not going to happen again like that. There's no reason. Can you imagine? You have farmers that don't have any water in California. They have plenty of water. They don't have a drought. They send it out to the Pacific, and it's crazy. So what's happening in California is a true tragedy. I know those areas very well. I have many friends living in those houses. That is a true tragedy. Nobody ever thought. I mean, virtually Beverly Hills and areas around Beverly Hills are being decimated. The biggest homes, some of the most valuable homes in the world are just destroyed. I don't even know. You know, you talk about a tax base. If those people leave, you're going to lose half your tax base of California.
This firestorm is the big one in magnitude. Hurricane force winds are usually accompanied by rainstorms, but these are hurricane force winds that are combined with extremely dry drought conditions. To provide context, at 10:20 p.m. yesterday, the Palisades fire was at 10 acres. 12 minutes later, it was at 200 acres. I spoke with President Biden today and Governor Newsom earlier today, and they assured.
That's where I live, and so I'm just grateful to know that there's.
The wind changed on a dime. And next thing we know, we had to scramble to really get out of there. It was a lot of chaos. It was crazy. You'll get through it one day at a time, you know? Excuse me.
So many people across Southern California, their lives forever changed, this new normal that they now.
Head injury. Yesterday, there were at least 4 reports of possible human remains found in the rubble of burnt out homes. 2 of them here in Malibu, including this one on PCH, where the medical examiner removed the remains believed to be that of the homeowner who stayed behind reportedly to try and save the house. Now, yesterday, the head of FEMA was here in Los Angeles to offer federal assistance, while President Biden committed federal funds to cover 100% of the firefighting costs. If you are a victim of any of the fires that have been happening this week in the Los Angeles area, you can now apply for federal assistance by going to this website, disasterassistance.gov. That's.
And while the National Guard is stationed at multiple intersections here in the area, the LA County Sheriff's Department is now working on a mandatory curfew, both for the Palisades and Eaton fires. Sheriff Luna says they're working through the legal process to put in place a 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew in impacted areas. Violators could face a misdemeanor. Now, back up here live, the Angeles National Forest estimates anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 structures have been burned by the Eaton fire. We'll be here throughout the morning. For now, that's the latest. In Altadena, I'm Mario Ramirez. Back to you.
Certainly some level of comfort to see the National Guard out there, I'm sure, among some residents there. Thank you, Mario. And amid these stories of
massive wildfires continue to burn out of control around Los Angeles, with more high winds forecast into tomorrow.
Iconic community of California. More than 130,000 people have been told to evacuate their homes. Here, just one of many properties engulfed, turned to a shell. At least 5 major fires have been burning across Los Angeles County. The scale and spread has stretched firefighting crews. On the ground and in the air. 16,000 acres and counting consumed by the inferno. One street filmed by a local resident moments before he left.
I thought maybe I would be able to get some extra stuff that we didn't take and come to see that the whole street is just gone. It's like a war zone. And we had so many memories in here that cannot be replaced. I had these great old pictures of my grandfather from World War II, both grandfathers, and I was going to get them framed, and now they're gone and they're lost. And I had so many things that are just lost forever. It just, I know we're safe, but I don't understand.
The scale of this disaster is clear to see. This is Pacific Palisades, block after block, a blanket of destruction. More than 1,000 buildings burned in this community alone. Emergency services unable to save them.
We had everything, like the sentimental things. Like my mom passed away. I had only a few things of hers left. My wedding dress, our wedding album. We left everything, our albums, we have just whatever we're wearing. We're wearing the same thing for the last 2 days.
Copy that.
Fueled by hurricane-force winds, these fires have struck at a vulnerable time. LA hasn't seen any significant rainfall for months. Abandoned neighborhoods are now falling prey to crime.
In the midst of the emergency, we've all seen individuals who are targeting vulnerable communities by burglarizing and looting homes. This is simply unacceptable.
As dawn came in the Palisades, it revealed the grim reality of what the fire has left behind. There are miles and miles of streets like this, an utter shock at the devastation here. Communities just vanished, now ghost towns, and once dream homes turned to dust. No one is immune. Mansions now ash. The homes of Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler, and Paris Hilton among those evacuated. And this was filmed by the wife of Take That star Mark Owen as they escaped through the flames. Some are returning to the ruins to see what remains. A scene that will be repeated in this ravaged city over the coming days. Emma Vardy, BBC News, Los Angeles.
President Biden has just described the LA fire.